still fighting the scarf issue. And as you see in one of my other videos, I had to go back and do some re-scarfing. Very unpleasant. So, but I thought, okay, I'm not doing the planer that much. I learned, for me, it didn't work on my plywood. And the router with the brace part worked pretty well, but if there was bows in the wood, the router, the bottom, the base part, this guy right here, would slide under the wood. You know, if there was bows, and I had that brace right there. If the base brace bowed or the plywood bowed, this thing would just slide on under, and I'd screw up my scarf, which happened quite a bit. So it was still better than the planer. It was better than the planer. All right, so like I said, now I had to go back and do this again. And so I did some research on the web, saw some guys do some really intricate sled jigs. I don't know what else to call them. And decided that's the way I wanted to go, but I didn't want this one guy I watched. He did a really cool job. He had brackets and poles and plexiglass, and it was like this real cool thing. It took him 30 seconds to do a scarf. But I was like, I'm not going to spend all that much time building this thing. I'm only going to do a scarf joint maybe another 4 or 5 times, this year. So I wasn't going to do that. So instead, I kind of took his idea and modified it. And let me just show you what I have here. So this is my sled jig right here. And what I did is I basically took a piece of wood, 4x4, which is the guy here in the middle. These guys right here are 4x4s. And I did them at a 1/8, or not 1/8, but a 8-to-1 ratio. So every inch in rise was 8 inches in length, and so that's this rise. So then I put these two together. These are all sanded down. Once I got done with that, I then took just a little piece. I just put this on this morning. These are all still glued up. Put this on, made a lip. As you can see right there, there's a lip, and that's to catch. That's to catch the bottom of the plywood, just like that. So if this was plywood, this would just catch just like that. And then what I did, because obviously, if I let the router go every which way in here like this, it's going to dig into the wood, and it's eventually going to cut the thing in half. So what I did is I put rails on it, and I used the same wood. I just a little piece of scrap wood, and made rails so that the router can move around, just not that much, and it'll dig into this some, which is fine because this is 1.5 inches thick, which is too thick anyway. So so it'll dig into here eventually. But then the cool thing is like I said, let me go get my router. So now the idea is the router will sit just like that, and I'll be able to basically go up and down. And once I get the bit set, the sled will let me increase my depth as I go, because it's at the 8-to-1 ratio. So it'll always be correct. I'll never have to reset my router blade. And so that's the whole idea of the whole thing. So once I got done with that, or once that part's in place, like I said, I smoothed this with this side and this side. So this side, well, I don't move it too much, it's still wet glue. I used 120 grit sandpaper, made it really smooth, like baby butt smooth, and then I waxed it. So what my plan is he had this brace and moving things around. As you see, I put a bracket back here, and I'm going to leave that hole open, and I'm going to stick my shop vac hose, this guy right there, into the back. I might have to put some duct tape right there to help seal it off, but that will create vacuum, suck the stuff right out, and that should keep it clean. And then my plan is to just move it. Just slide it as I go, and then slide it, slide it, and it should always be the same. So I just realized something. I was looking at my router soft jig, whatever I'm calling it. I just realized up here, if I put it up here, it's going to come off, or it's going to cut my stop gap. So I'm just moving it up a couple inches. I just glued this on right here. That's to stop the router as it comes down, so it'll stop. But then I also need to make sure that I pull this whole contraption out So when it stops right here, this part, the nut part ends, you know, pretty much at the edge here. So I've just cut this and we can slide this underneath here and glue it just like that. I'm thinking that should work. So I just flipped it over, a little bit of glue. Try not to make too much of a mess. Okay. And here's the piece I just cut. Just gonna slide that right on there. Clamp that down. Of course, do I have a clamp handy? No. Oh, I should have a clamp handy. If anybody asks, I bought all my clamps at Harbor Freight. I spend the money. Clamps, clamps, clamp. So all my clamps come from Harbor Freight. I think I spent $1 on these, $1.50 maybe. Not much. So I can't complain about that. Here's my 3-inch bit. Take the router and I go to the edge at the bottom, and obviously I want to make sure it's not going through the wood. So this one, alright, so this one's going to be, the tip is just short of going through the other side. That's what I'm looking for. Make sure you get it right. Yep. So I actually, so that's my bit. Now, get some gear on and get to work. Go.